In 2014, researchers in the Netherlands published a study that investigated whether wild animals in nature, not just critters in captivity, would run on exercise wheels if given the opportunity. You know, like the kind that hamsters run on in pet stores. Those kinds of wheels. It seems like a silly idea, and you might ask yourself a pretty valid question. Why would a scientist be interested in this kind of question anyway? Well, when scientists study animals in captivity, they're often interested in certain qualities like physical health, activity, energy levels, or mood. But these qualities can be pretty hard to quantify. It's not like animals can tell us how they feel. But by observing their behaviors, such as how and when they run in their enclosures, researchers can infer a lot of this information. But it's not exactly like exercise wheels exist in nature. Animals who run on these wheels aren't living in their natural habitat. Instead, they're confined to smaller cages that they just don't have the ability to run in or roam across larger spaces like they would in nature. What if running on a wheel isn't a natural behavior at all? What if it's only a symptom of living in captivity, that animals only run on wheels when in captivity and would never dream of it in nature? So what would happen if you gave wild animals an exercise wheel? That's what Joanna Meyer and Yuri Robbers at Leiden University Medical Center decided to find out. For 3 years, these researchers watched 2 wheels that were placed in local European woodlands and recorded any activity they saw from the native fauna. Over those 3 years, Meyer and Robbers observed over 1,000 instances of wheel-running behavior in various wild animals, including mice, rats, shrews, frogs, and even slugs and snails. Although I don't know if I would qualify snails crawling across a wheel really running on it. Still, that's quite a lot of evidence that wild animals would happily go for a run on these wheels every now and again if given the chance. So those researchers can rest easy, knowing that their captive exercise that they've been observing and measuring for decades has its roots in behavior that animals do naturally in the wild. Now, I read this report some 5 or 6 years ago, and I immediately thought, well, that just sounds really fun. It's kind of like giving wild animals a gym space. A safe little area that these animals can go and exercise, and they seem to enjoy doing it. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to recreate this experiment and see if all the way out here in Michigan, wild animals will happily run on wheels that we put out for them in the environment? That's also something worth doing from time to time for scientific research, repeating someone else's experiment to see if we get the same result the second time around. Personally, I think we should be encouraging more repetition of old studies so that we can check and confirm those older findings. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to recreate the Meyer and Robbers experiment with some minor modifications. And I'm going to see if I too can capture adorable mice, frogs, and even snails going for a run in our backyard gym. So stay tuned for updates to see how that turns out.